Imagine this moment. You stand there carrying sharp intelligence, years of experience and wisdom forged through decades, long nights of relentless work, bitter lessons from failure, and the times you picked yourself up when life seemed determined to knock you down. This is you, a real person with intellect and strength that no one can deny. Then, suddenly, someone looks at you, not with the respect you deserve after all these years, not with admiration for what you've built, but with a cold, silent resentment, as if your very existence is a dagger piercing the fragile shell they use to conceal the emptiness within. Welcome to the world of the narcissist, a place where your light is not welcomed, but seen as a threat. Here's a harsh truth. Not everyone will celebrate your brilliance. Not everyone wants to learn from you or stand beside you to grow together. Some people have only one goal: to dim your light, to smother the fire you've spent your entire life keeping alive. And when your intelligence, the very thing you cherish, the essence of who you are, becomes a threat to a narcissist, everything changes. And they don't just envy you, they feel threatened to their core because you are living proof of everything they can never be. So what happens when the light within you exposes their emptiness? Will they bow to the truth? Or will they do everything in their power to drag you down into their abyss? Today, we embark on that journey, a journey that may not always be comfortable, but is absolutely necessary. We will uncover the true nature of the narcissist, the subtle tactics they use to attack you, how their jealousy escalates into destruction, and most importantly, how you can keep your fire burning no matter how cold the winds they send your way. This is not just a story, this is real. Experiences you may have lived through, challenges you may be facing right now. Stay with me until the end, and together we'll dive deep into this truth. Are you ready? Let's begin. A narcissist is not a complete person like you or me. They are more like a shattered mirror, reflecting only what they want to see, existing solely to sustain the illusion of their own superiority. But when you appear with sharp intelligence, with deep understanding forged through years of struggle and growth, that mirror doesn't just crack, it shatters. Your intelligence does not inspire admiration in them, it terrifies them, because you are light, strong, undeniable, and impossible to conceal. And them, they are mere shadows, pretending to shine with a borrowed glow. The first thing they do is not to confront you directly, they lack the courage for that. Instead, they weave a delusional narrative to protect their fragile ego. They convince themselves that every brilliant idea you have, every achievement you reach, is because of them. Without me, he would be nothing, they mumble to themselves, as if you were just a puppet and they were the one pulling the strings. I have seen this happen more than once. There was a time, during a team meeting, when I presented a plan I had spent weeks perfecting. A colleague, someone who had never contributed anything meaningful, immediately jumped in. I suggested this a long time ago, but no one paid attention. A blatant lie. But to him, the truth didn't matter. What mattered was that he could stand in my light without breaking a sweat. Think about it. Have you ever encountered someone like that? Someone who always finds a way to attach their name to your work, as if they were the hidden genius behind your success. That isn't mere insecurity, that is a calculated effort to steal your value without paying the price. And when they finally realize that you are far beyond them, not because of arrogance, but because of the way you solve problems, the way you see through things, they spiral into panic. But this isn't the kind of panic that pushes them to grow. They don't think, I need to learn from this person to become better. No. They shrink back, trembling in fear of being exposed, terrified that the world will see them for what they truly are, an empty shell, surviving on pretense. That is the essence of a narcissist. And your intelligence, the very thing you have built over long, grueling years, is the fire that burns away the facade they depend on to exist. But narcissists don't stop at deceiving themselves. When they realize that your intelligence is real, something they cannot deny or overshadow with empty words, they initiate a battle. Not an open confrontation where you can stand your ground and fight back. This is a war fought in the shadows, subtle, silent, and ruthless, to the point that you may not even realize you're under attack until it's too late. Let me share a story from my own life. A few years ago, I had a friend, or at least I thought she was a friend. Every time I shared an idea, something I had carefully thought through, something I had worked hard to refine, she would smile and say, "Oh, I've been thinking the same thing all along." At first, I brushed it off, thinking it was just a coincidence. But then it happened again, and again. She started using the words I often used, mimicking my way of reasoning, even coincidentally taking an interest in the things I was passionate about. The turning point came when I realized she didn't just want to insert herself into my ideas, she wanted me to doubt my own mind. Am I really that smart, I began to wonder, or have I just been imagining my own value? That was her goal all along, to shake me, to make me lose confidence in my own intelligence. The first tactic they use is dismissal. They'll say things like, "Oh, you just got lucky," or "That's not really a big deal." They want you to believe that your intelligence, the thing you've sweat, bled, and sacrificed for, is just a fluke, not the result of true ability. They want to reduce your years of effort to a joke. Then they move on to imitation. They copy you shamelessly, from the way you speak, the way you handle challenges, even down to your personal interests. I once knew someone who had never cared about writing, but the moment I started receiving praise for my work, he suddenly discovered a passion for writing. He borrowed my style, mimicked my storytelling approach, but never acknowledged where he got it from. "I'm just experimenting," he would say, but I knew exactly what he was trying to steal. When imitation isn't enough to bring you down, they start planting doubt. "Are you sure?" they'll ask with a smug smile, even when they know you're absolutely right. They want you to hesitate, to second-guess things you've always been certain of. At our age, we understand that words, especially the small ones, can carry immense weight, and they are masters at using them to crush you. Finally, they infiltrate your world. They weave their way into your social circles, befriend your colleagues, even try to claim your passions as their own. They don't do this to grow alongside you. They do it to replace you, to stand in the spotlight you built, as if they were the ones who truly deserved it. This is not healthy competition. This is a calculated effort to dim your light, to make you forget your true worth. But do you see what's happening? They only do this because they are afraid that if you keep shining, no one will pay attention to their hollow shadow anymore. But what happens when these tactics don't work? When you don't crumble under their dismissals? When you refuse to let them copy you without resistance? When you don't allow their seeds of doubt to take root? That's when the narcissist drops the mask of politeness and you see their true darkness. They start with covert sabotage. They whisper behind your back to anyone who will listen. "She's smart, sure, but don't you think she's a little arrogant?" they say with a soft, seemingly innocent tone laced with venom. They don't need proof. They don't need truth. Just planting a tiny seed of doubt in others' minds is enough to disrupt your credibility. I've been through this. Once I worked with a manager who resented me because I frequently came up with solutions he hadn't thought of. He never confronted me directly. Instead, he circled around, telling the team that I was too full of myself and not a team player. But the irony? He later took my ideas and presented them to upper management as if they were his own. Then they escalate further. They use other people as weapons. They manipulate your friends, turn colleagues against you, and even recruit outsiders to do their bidding. This tactic is known as flying monkeys, individuals who unknowingly become pawns in the narcissist's dirty game. I once had a close friend suddenly turn her back on me, all because of the lies a narcissist had planted in her mind. But the most terrifying thing, and I am not exaggerating, is when their envy turns into a full-scale effort to destroy you. Some narcissists don't just want to break you mentally, they want to erase you physically. It sounds like something out of a Hollywood thriller, but I've seen it happen in real life. They interfere with your environment, a drink that tastes off, a meal that leaves you unusually fatigued, or small, unnoticed changes in your surroundings that you only realize too late. I've felt this firsthand. Once, after dinner with an acquaintance, I felt drained for an entire week. My mind was foggy, my body sluggish, my focus completely shot. At first, I blamed it on work stress, but then I started questioning it. Was it really a coincidence? At our age, we know not every smile is friendly, not every handshake is harmless. If you've ever felt inexplicably drained, confused, or unwell around a person like this, don't be so quick to blame yourself. Trust your instincts. They do this because they are desperate. If they can't outthink your intelligence, they'll attack your ability to use it. But here's their fatal flaw. They can never truly win unless you let them. And here's the truth that a narcissist will never understand. Your intelligence is not something they can steal. It's not just in the words you speak, the ideas you share, or the problems you solve. It is an eternal fire within you, forged through years of hardship, through long nights of reflection, through every time you fell and got back up without anyone reaching out a hand to help. Yes, they can mimic the way you speak. They can plant doubts in your mind, sometimes successfully, but they can never touch that fire, can never strip away the soul of the intelligence you have built over decades. So what should you do when faced with them? First, don't waste your energy. Don't argue. Don't try to prove anything. Let them burn themselves out in their own obsession. I've learned this the hard way. When you try to reason with a narcissist, you're just adding fuel to their game. But if you step back, stay silent, they will trip over their own web of lies. Second, protect yourself. Seriously. Keep records of everything they say, everything they do. If something feels off, whether it's your health, your mental clarity, or the environment around you, pay attention. Don't give them the chance to creep in and harm you with their underhanded tactics. Install security cameras if needed. Don't eat or drink anything they give you unless you are absolutely sure it's safe. At our age, we don't have time to be naive anymore. And finally, the most important thing, keep shining. They want you to shrink. They want you to stay quiet. They want you to disappear so they can stand in the spotlight you built. But you didn't go through years of struggle, job losses, sleepless nights, hard choices, just to bow down to someone unworthy. Stand tall. Use your intelligence, not to fight them, but to live authentically as the person you truly are. After everything we've been through, we've learned one undeniable truth. Our value does not come from the praise of others. It comes from how we face the darkness and emerge from it stronger than ever. They can throw stones, they can try to extinguish you, but they can never take your fire. Never. Before we wrap up this journey, let's pause for a moment to dig deeper into the battle between your intelligence and the narcissist's envy through a different lens, the lens of C.S. Lewis, a man who saw right through the heart of pride and the emptiness it hides. Lewis wrote in Mere Christianity that pride gets no pleasure out of having something, only out of having more of it than the next man, and that's the crux of the narcissist. They don't really want your intelligence for its own sake. They want it to outdo you, to stand taller than you, to snuff out your light and use it as a stepping stone for their hollow ego. Think about it. When a narcissist sees your smarts, they don't see a gift worth celebrating, something that by this point in life we've learned to honor in others. No way. They see a direct threat to the story they've spun about themselves. Lewis pointed out that pride is a spiritual sickness, an obsession with comparison. Narcissists are trapped in that sickness. They can't stand the thought that you're sharper, wiser, stronger than they are. It doesn't just make them jealous, it sends them into a tailspin. Because if you shine, they have to face the fact that they've got nothing real to offer. But here's where Lewis's thinking gives us a lifeline. He wrote that true humility, not putting yourself down but knowing your worth without flaunting it, is the antidote to pride. You don't have to slug it out with a narcissist by stooping to their level. You don't have to shout to prove your light's legit. As Lewis put it, a truly humble man doesn't think less of himself, he just thinks of himself less. And that's your power. You don't need to play their game, you don't need to scramble for their approval. Your intelligence, that unquenchable fire inside you, is enough on its own to let them burn themselves out in their own obsession. I've seen it play out in real life. Once, when I refused to argue with someone who kept trying to cut me down, he got desperate, talking louder, acting crazier, anything to drag me into his fight. But I didn't budge, and in the end he crumbled, not because I beat him, but because he couldn't stand that I didn't care about his little show. Lewis nailed it. The proud can't live without an audience. When you refuse to be their audience, they lose their reason to keep going. So when a narcissist tries to put you out, remember this. You don't have to lower yourself to take them down. Your intelligence, your calm, that's your strongest weapon, not to strike back, but to stand firm. They'll fall apart on their own, because as Lewis saw, pride is always its own worst enemy. If you've ever faced a narcissist, whether in the workplace, in your family, or anywhere in your life, share your story in the comments. I want to hear it, and so do others. We are not alone in this battle. Every story is another flame, together lighting up the darkness. Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep uncovering the hidden truths of life, deep lessons, hard-to-swallow realities, and the wisdom needed to live stronger. Thank you for spending your time here today. Keep your fire burning, not just for yourself, but for everyone who needs to see it in this world. I'll see you in the next video.